Hi, my name is Kyle Ryder. I'm the Technical Service and Development Chemist for CHT USA, and today we're going to be talking about HANSA CARE 4440. This material, it's a compound based on MQ resin with a silicone wax component. It's an ingredient used for car care. It can go in things like car polishes, spray waxes. When it's applied to the surface, what's developed is kind of a 3D structure that really provides a very outstanding, durable hydrophobic effect. The silicone wax component in the material helps with easy buff out of the compound. Suitable surfaces, car care paint, alloy wheels, plastic and vinyl surfaces of the car. Really mean, if you're not familiar with silicone chemistry, we have things called M units, D units, T units, and Q units, okay? So we're talking specifically about M and Q units, okay? What does that really mean? If we look at the silicone atom, it's usually in the center, right? And then there's oxygens around it. So this would be an M unit because it's got the one oxygen, or mono, right? D would be 2, T would be 3, Q is 4, right? So it looks something like this, okay? So the MQ resin, or our HANSA CARE 4440 that we're going to be talking about today, is a resin based on these two units. So it's a combination of these two cross-linked in a network that will be applying to the surface that provides that hydrophobic effect. We can vary the concentration of Q to M and vice versa, which will manipulate kind of the overall effects of the material. We can have more of M, more of Q, to create a more flexible or a more brittle film, and that's what you can change about these types of materials. Okay, so now that we've gone through the theory of what an MQ resin is, that's the active component in our material. Here's a little bit of the material itself. You can see it's a clear solution. It's probably roughly 70 to 75% active if you were to look at the TDS, and this is what we'll be diluting into isopropyl alcohol. Okay, so it's a very simple formulation. You can put this in a solvent base, which is what we're doing today. We're going to make an 8% solution in IPA. You can also put it in a water-based solution as long as you're using the right emulsifiers. Things like Lutensil TO5, TO8, or Planticare 818 UP are suitable emulsifiers. Okay, so start with our beaker here, zero that out. So we're going to make an 8% solution, so we need about 92 grams. We're going to make a 100 gram batch. Need about 92 grams of the IPA. Okay, that's good. Take the IPA over to our mixer here. Get it turned on. Doesn't have to be mixing fast. I don't think. Probably 100 RPMs or lower might be a little too slow, but 100, 350 is plenty of a vortex to mix the solution in. So now we can add our HANSA CARE 4440, which is in the bottle here. So we're going to add it to our IPA. We're going to add by subtraction. So what we're removing now from the container and the pipette is obviously what's going into the IPA over there. So we'll start with one pipette full. You can see as I mix it in, it goes in very easily all on its own, just through the agitation of the magnetic stir bar. Okay? So simple overhead mixers will mix this in just fine, depending on the batch size and quantity that you're making, maybe even a stir bar. If you're a little over or under, plus or minus a gram is fine. It's not going to make a huge difference. And that's pretty much it for the solvent-borne formulation. Once it's mixed in, if you look closely with the camera, you can see that it's clear, it's see-through, everything's homogeneous. You're pretty much done at this point. No further mixing is required. So we'll go ahead and shut that off. This is a spray application, so for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to use a simple travel size spray bottle. We're going to take some of the solution, the 8% HANSA CARE 4440 in IPA, pour it into the spray bottle here. Okay, and then we're going to prepare our test surface. So earlier today, I took some very simple polishing compounds and things like that to clean the surface off and get it free of any other materials that may have been tested on the surface, so that we have a clean, bare surface to apply the material to. I can show you that real quick. If we pour water across it, you'll see it's got a pretty uniform action of water on the surface there. It's running down the panel in more or less the same fashion across the entire panel. You'll see the difference after we apply our solution to it, the benefit of the material. So it's about getting the water off the vehicle. Folks talk about water spots on the vehicle all the time. Why not prevent the water spots from the get-go? Not even allow them a chance to form on the vehicle. This material is going to help you do that. It's going to help prevent water spots from ever showing up. So if we talk about some other similar chemistries that car care folks might be familiar with, if we were to look at what's called an aminosiloxane, it has about a roll-off angle of about 35 degrees. Okay. If we look at a polysilazane, that has a roll-off angle of about 20 degrees. This MQ resin that we're talking about today has a roll-off angle of about 15 degrees. So we're talking about 5 degrees better than a polysilazane. That's pretty good. And so just putting a piece of paper on the surface of this, kind of as a guard. Okay. Now, this material, unlike maybe some traditional waxes where you'd spread it on the vehicle and you'd wait for it to haze over, and then you're going back through with a microfiber cloth, and it takes a lot of effort to get it to buff out. This is not like that. Because of that resin structure, because of that mountain-like structure that it creates, we don't want to apply a lot of pressure when we're wiping it on the surface and buffing it out. If you apply too much pressure, it'll flatten that structure out, and when you go to hit it with some water to see that nice roll-off effect, it won't be there. So just be real gentle about how you're buffing it into the surface, okay? So let me get the spray bottle primed there. And depending on the area that you're working on, here for the demonstration purposes, I want you to see the interaction of it on the panel. So I'm going to apply a decent coating of it on the surface here. And then you're just in gentle overlapping circles. You're just going to go over that surface in gentle overlapping circles. And you're going to continue to do that until you have it evenly distributed across the surface. You can wait for a second or two, maybe let it flash a little bit, some of that IPA flash, and as your area of your microfiber cloth becomes saturated with the material, you can move to a new clean dry area of the microfiber cloth and continue doing those gentle overlapping circles until you get the formulation completely buffed into the painted surface of the vehicle. Until it's completely buffed in and you can't see those circles anymore. Okay. Once that's done, it's been applied, and you're ready to go. So you can remove your kind of guard here. The untreated side's a little bit lighter. The treated side is quite a bit darker. So you can see on the untreated part, the water sticks behind. Takes a considerably longer amount of time to roll off. So you got that nice hydrophobicity on the treated portion of the panel, helping that water roll off very easily. Okay. And that is the HANSA CARE 4440. Thanks.